Thank you so much, everyone. And it's really a pleasure to be part of this wonderful community and, you know, um, to share my knowledge and also learn from you because you are about to ask a couple questions. So some of them I might be able to answer, some I might not. Just for information, I am more knowledgeable on Synapse than Dataverse. And if you do have any questions, deep questions related to Dataverse, and if it's outside of the uh, Dataverse integration with Synapse, I might not be able to answer you. But anything related to Dataverse integration with Synapse, I should be able to answer you. So therefore, take this in consideration. Also, as you already know, my name is Jean-Joseph. I'm based out of New Jersey, originally from Haiti, right? You might feel the Creole or French accent. I know I do have accent. Therefore, you are free to stop me and have me repeat myself if I say something you, you didn't really get it, right? And I'll do my best to speak a little bit slow for you to be able to digest every word that I'm about to say. And the purpose of this presentation is to um, explain and demonstrate the capability of Azure Synapse Link for Dataverse integration for you to remove operational barrier uh, within your environment. So, great. For those who don't know me, I am the founder and the main organizer of Data-Driven Community. Under Data-Driven Community, we have Cloud Data-Driven, which is a user group where we meet weekly, every Thursday at 12 p.m. EDT, and we talk about data and AI. And we also have Feature Data-Driven Summit. It is a yearly event that take place every last Wednesday of September. And this year we have about 2,000 um, um, uh, attendees registered. And out of the 2,000, there's about 1,500 were live with us with 5 different channels. It was very successful this year, more than the other year, and we still have room to learn. So therefore, we plan to make next year more successful. Yeah. I work for Microsoft as a technical trainer. However, I am a data engineer. I have 4 beautiful kids, 3 sons, one stepdaughter. I enjoy spending time with them, and also my hobbies is more like travel. I love to travel, love to learn new cultures. Enough about me. So this is the overview of what I'm gonna cover with you. So for those of you that don't know Dataverse, I will briefly introduce Dataverse, okay? Not talk too much. And I will introduce Synapse. And after that, we will focus on our main talking point, which is Synapse Link, feature what we call H-type, which stand for hybrid transactional and analytical processing. Then after that, we're gonna deep dive into demos, right? And talk about pro and cons. Then we're gonna go over the Q&A. Cool. Here's the thing. When it comes to Dataverse, it is indeed part of what we call the Microsoft Power Platform. And Microsoft Power Platform is a suite of business intelligence, right? App development and app community software application. It's designed to empower everyone for example, your organization with an intuitive, collaborative, and extensible platform of low-code tools that make it easy to create efficient and flexible solutions. And this platform consists of 4 or 5 areas. We have Power BI. Power BI allows you to make informed, confident business conditions by putting data-driven insight into everyone's hands. We also have Power Apps, right? We also have Power Apps. Um, uh, this tool help you automate business processes. Then we have Power Automate, right? And Power Automate, sorry about that. Power Apps, um, uh, this is, for example, a low code solutions for building business applications, whereas Power Automate, this tool help you automate business processes. And we also have what we call Power Virtual Agent. Uh, this allow you to handle routine inquiries at scale with conversational AI. There's another one what we call Power Pages. This is a tool for building web applications. So the goal is not to focus too much on what we call Power Platform. The goal is to focus on the Dataverse. And for Dataverse, it has to be H type. Okay, this is where I'm gonna spend most of my time. Let me quickly introduce Dataverse, right? When it comes to Dataverse, right? The Dataverse is a low code data platform that empower organization to work with any type of data and any type of apps. It allows you to securely store and manage data used by business application. Uh, Data within Dataverse is stored within a set of tables, and you can create custom tables specific to your organization needs. App makers can then use Power BI, Power Apps to build rich application that use this data. The other advantage you get of the Dataverse is that it support what we call SharePoint, OneDrive, and OneNote integrations. Moreover, it's also allow you to connect to Teams, which can be very essential, right? And this is just a brief introduction of what we call Synapse. When it comes, Dataverse. When it comes to Synapse Analytics, right, it is a unified platform, right? What I mean by unified, it is an enterprise analytic service that accelerates time to insight across data warehouses and big data and system or analytic. It's bring together the best of SQL technologies used in enterprise data warehousing, like Apache Spark technology for big data and Azure Data Explorer for log and time series analytics. It offers both serverless and dedicated resource model, which allow you to query both relational and non-relational data using the language of your choice. It's also integrates with Azure, with other Azure services. For example, you can think of Power BI. We can think of Dataverse that I just explained right here. We can think of Azure ML and so on, right? Um, uh, so therefore, you and I can consider that Azure Synapse is a limitless analytic services that bring together the foundational capability for analytic data integration, enterprise data warehousing, and big data analytics, right? So you can clearly see with Synapse, you have the freedom to query the data on your terms using either serverless or dedicated resource pool at any scale, right? The other advantage you get of the unified experience is that it's bring together the world's of structured and unstructured data with a unified experience to ingest, explore, prepare, manage, and serve data for immediate BI and machine learning needs. And with Synapse, when it comes to serverless, we can think of Apache Spark. You know, Apache Spark is in memory, uh, uh, distributed framework uh, that that allow you to perform big data analytic, machine engineering, and because it is in memory primitive, it's great for machine learning algorithmic and even artificial intelligence algorithmic because the data is in the memory, so therefore the response times would be great. We also have another serverless, which is part of the SQL factor, right? That endpoint allow you to read the data from what we call external data lake. Consider if you have files sit on top of your external data lake, you can leverage the serverless SQL pool endpoint to discover or explore that data, do basic data exploration and discovery. And if not, if the response times is great, you can even leverage this to create a logical data warehouse. We're not gonna spend too much time on Synapse because the goal is to focus on the link. This is where we are, right? When it comes to, for example, productions, this is our productions. This is our data warehouse. Let me ask you a question. How we normally move the data from production to our data warehouse? Can someone on the call let me know what would be the traditional way to sync our data warehouse from production? Um, Feel free to come off mute or chat, put something in in the chat. What would you think if you have to move your data from production to your data warehouse for analysis? What we normally implement to do the data movement? Any idea? You, yeah, carry on, Angela.
I'm here to learn from you. I'm not sure where it would pull from on the data side.
What we normally implement to do that. Yeah, so I love that. Thank you so much for your great. So what we normally do, we normally, for example, design, give me a second. We normally design what we call a data pipeline. When we design this data pipeline, we design it with the intention to move the data, right? And but to design that pipeline or any ETL packages, we need to have development team involved. If we don't have someone in the house free or have the knowledge to do that, we have to hire consultants. And after that, we need environment um, to start with the development and testing. So therefore, we may have dev, Q&A, and productions, right? And guess what happened? Consider if the development is done, we push it to QA, it's validated, and now it's on production, right? We need support team because our development team will never be available 24/7. And if your application is global, you require support team to be available 24/7. So you can see there will be time zone. You might require to hire someone outside of your time zone just to be available to provide support for 24/7. And because it is batch scheduler, okay, so therefore it's hard to maintain near real time, right? And it can be complex. Sometimes it can reach to a point that even us that do the development, hard to understand, to quickly pinpoint the root cause of this in case of something wrong occur because of the complexity. So now, guess what happened? If you do have what we call, if you do have um, uh, Azure Cosmos DB, Azure Production, you have, for example, Dataverse, you have Azure SQL Server, even SQL Server 22 on-prem, you don't need to worry me about designing and implementing a data pipeline. You can leverage what we call H type, right? H type can replace that for you. The only thing H type will not do for you is, for example, to modify that data while moving the data. That's the only thing. So therefore, what is H type, right? H type um, is the one that's referred to what we call Synapse Link. Synapse Link is a cloud native hybrid transactional and analytical processing capability that enable near real-time analytic over operational data. It's create a tied seamless integration between operational, store, and Azure Synapse Analytics. For example, we can clearly see we have Dataverse right here. Okay, this is kind of the same schema we have, at exception that, except that we mention Azure Synapse Link right here, right? So the Synapse Link is the one that give you. I'm not sure why it is not taking place. Okay, the Synapse Link, right, is what will replace your ETL pipeline. This is what it's going to do. So therefore, it will allow you Synapse Link for Dataverse, which is where we will focus, allow you to connect to your Dataverse and to Azure Synapse Analytics to explore your data and accelerate time to insight. It was formerly known as export to data lake and will continue to export data to Azure Data Lake as well as Synapse Analytics. So it is native, so therefore you don't have to do anything. There is absolutely no administration, and the conversions between work to colon store happen behind the scene. And the advantage you get is that you don't need to worry. We maintain the entire data flow for you. So once the data move to Synapse, you can leverage Spark to analyze that data, clean it, okay, reshape it, and you can even perform big data analytics if you want to. You can leverage a Power BI tool, okay, to connect and create dashboard against that data. So with that said, um, uh, this is how it works for Dataverse, right? So things you need to understand when customer want to discover deep inside from the data within Dataverse, it requires, for example, stitching a multiple of services together. So this creates a barrier between business, this application data, and analytical system by constantly copying, okay, data back and forth. This is a crucial factor that impedes accelerated time to insight and also result in constant maintenance and adjustment. So with Azure Synapse Link for Dataverse, it helps you overcome the process of stitching together multiple services to extract insight from data within Dataverse. So therefore, what is Azure uh, Synapse Link for Dataverse, right? It is a service that allow you to connect your Microsoft Dataverse data to Azure Synapse Analytics. Right, as I mentioned earlier, it was formerly known as data export to data lake. And this service provides a continuous pipeline of data from Dataverse to Azure Data Analytics or Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. What benefit will you get? So first of all, you have near real-time data analytics. What I mean by it's enable you to get near real-time insight over your data in Microsoft Dataverse with zero performance because the data is already replicated. You're touching the data that has been replicated. So therefore, it's provide a copy data synchronized from Dataverse via Synapse Link and in efficient manner by detecting what data has changed since it was initially synchronized or extracted or last synchronized. With this, you can clone data in Dataverse, continuously um, export it to Azure Data Lake Storage, and visualize it using Azure Synapse Analytics. It creates also a bidirectional link between Azure Synapse Link and Dataverse, allowing you to perform complex analytic queries and join Dataverse data with the other data source. And with that, there will be cost saving, right? With Azure Synapse Link, right? Export the selected data. So all you have to do, you have to select the tables that you want um, to be exported in CSV format at uh, designated time interval processing them to a Delta Lake conversion Spark job. Upon the completion of this conversion process, CSV data is clean up for storage saving. So you can get up to 28% saving over pay as you go price when you pre-purchase Azure Synapse Analytics Commit Unit, what we call SKUs, to be used on any publicly available product under Azure Synapse except storage over the subsequent 12 months. Other things you need to understand since it is fully programmed, it's free up hours for more quality work because you don't have to maintain any manual work, right? Uh, with that, you don't need to worry about the development bug. You don't need to worry me about if your execution workflow have enough resources, right? You don't need to worry me about downtime because Microsoft maintain that for you. So therefore, in summary, you and I can accept that Azure Synapse Link for Dataverse provide businesses with the ability to perform near real-time data analysis on their operational data while offering cost-saving benefit, right? Um, uh, so now here's the thing. Uh, these are the benefit. You do require a storage. The storage will be the bridge. That's the storage. It is the bridge. So once the data exported into your storage, the things you need to understand, if you leverage, for example, Azure Synapse to do the knowledge base, all your aggregations, and put that data back to data lake again, you can leverage serverless SQL pool to create a logical data warehouse and point to that. So therefore, either way you benefit because you can have a Power BI connect to your dedicated to your serverless endpoint and analyze that data. Not only that, because the data has been exported to the storage, you can even connect to that storage. So this is how the initial load might take a bit of time depending on the size of that table, but the incremental will not take that much time because it's going to just move the delta. So therefore,
Did you see the question, Gene? There was a question in chat.
oh, what is, oh, thank you so much. I didn't see that. So
You're good.
then, yeah, then what is the difference between Synapse Link and Azure Data Factory? When it comes to Synapse Link you cannot customize Synapse Link. Let me put it this way. While moving the data, you have zero fleet options to, for example, modify the data when it comes to Synapse Link. And Synapse Link limited to Cosmos DB, Dataverse, and SQL, right? When it comes to SQL, we see on premises or Azure Infrastructure as a Service and Azure SQL databases. So for Data Factory is a data movement cloud native that allow you to ingest that data, transform it, and store that data for analysis. And it has over 100 connectors, right? And things you need to understand, Azure Data Factory is mainly used for data movement when it comes to the data architectural patterns where you might need to implement some complex data movement. You might think of using Lambda or Kappa, depend on the application needs. So it's like the way I would say it is that Azure Synapse Link just allow you to set to move the delta, your data from point one from point A to point B without any modifications. Whereas with Data Factory, you have a full flexibility to perform data engineering. I'm not sure if I was able to answer that question, Paul. Do you want me to provide you more details, or are you good so far? Thank you. Great. Thanks. So now, here's the thing. What would be the advantage you get, right? We've consider if business need to perform analysis right now on on your environment, and they don't want to impact productions. How long will it take you to have the development team discuss with development team, explain to development team what exactly you want to achieve, and for development team to translate your need into IT processes, and then for development team to do the tests, okay, to make sure data consistency or quality uh, taking place during the data movement. Okay, so how long will that take? It can take a long time. Guess what happened with Synapse Link for Dataverse? Is just a few clicks, just a few clicks, as long as you know what you're doing. But here's the thing: there are some consideration you need to take. Okay, and I'm about to cover them with you during the live demo. And then the advantage you get is the level of transparency when it comes to compliance and data governance, because you have one destination. So you don't have it all over the place. With that one destination, so now you have peace of mind. So I can apply governance, I can apply compliance, I can make sure my data is secure. And then because I don't need to, it's a few of click. So now I can save the entire time that I would spend for the designing, developing, and implementation to focus on business requirement. I can focus on what's really matter. Because I focus on what's really matter, so that may give the business more flexibilities to save money because the overhead they don't handle it. Microsoft done that. So if we have to go for some of the configurations, sometimes when you're sharing screen, things can go unexpected. I already have a couple, but in case, let me quickly go. There will be some core considerations. So things you need to understand, you have to enable change tracking. Okay, first, and then the storage account and Synapse Workspace must be under the same Microsoft Entra ID. So we don't have Active Directory. My Entra replace Active Directory. And then the storage account and Synapse must be on the same region. Very important. Otherwise, you won't be able to see it. It requires public network to be enabled. You will need to think of this one. And then not only you should have admin access, at the storage and workspace, you still require read. Okay. And then when you use multiple user if you add multiple user to Synapse, they must have system admin role. You have to keep that in mind, right? So now let's go over the configurations. I already launched this. We uh, we already know these things. You need to understand. If I didn't ping this, you would not see it. Okay, if I didn't ping this, consider. Let me show you this. If you have to do it on your own, you haven't done it before. Okay, I'm gonna launch this. You can see that if I click here, I unping this and I refresh this, you will not see it. So in order for you to see it, if you haven't tried this, you're gonna replace home with export, okay, to data lake. Once you've done that, it will go and show here, and then you're gonna have to ping this. That's the only piece you will need to add if you haven't done it yet. And there will be cases where you might need to even add another one where you set the Athena, okay? I don't remember the last part, you set it to true. So yeah, you might need to keep this in mind. I already have mine right here. And guess what happened? I can come back here, and then if you pay attention, you see I'm connecting to uh, uh, my region is US, West US. So therefore, West US and West US 2 will work for me. Consider this is under what we call dev sandbox environment. If I change this to a different one and I want to create the same thing, not sure why it's taking time. The reason why I'm saying this, the region, okay, takes, let me go back to where I was. I'm not sure why, but let me quickly, yeah, perfect. This is where I was. Perfect. So now let me, but you will need to keep this in mind. If you cannot, if, before you go, you try to create this. If the Synapse workspace and the storage account in a different region, they will not you will not be able to configure this. If I click on you, okay, I'm gonna connect to my Synapse. I'm gonna use call my resource group. So within my resource group, I have two. If I click right here, I don't have storage. The reason why I don't have storage because the Synapse workspace have a storage that is on East US, not West US. So if I change it to this one, you will see that automatically it sees the, the storage because they fall under the same category. And things you need to understand, if I come back here, you can see this is the same storage account that is right here. As you can see, this is the storage account. Under the storage account, I have nothing here, right? So if you remember this slide, let me go back right here. If you remember this slide, I mentioned you require what we call data lake. This is exactly what this is exactly what is why I'm showing you this storage. Okay. So now if I go back to my Synapse workspace, oh sorry, if I go back to my Synapse workspace, okay, um, uh, I can see under, for example, workspace, I have nothing here, even though if I refresh it. So as soon as I configure um, uh, uh, as soon as I integrate these two services together, I must be able to see it here. If I go back here, okay, I can even use my Spark pool if I want to, but I'm gonna skip it for now. So so now this is the tables, and remember, change tracking has to be enabled if you want that table to be part. These are the table system tables, so therefore they already have it enabled for us. What I'm going to do, I'm gonna use what we call app actions and app order, okay? And I'm gonna click save. As soon as I click save, if you click on advanced, you can see that if I show advanced, I can make it append only. Append only mean it will not delete the record, it will keep on adding. I can change the partitions if I want to. I can change it from month to year, right? This is normally done, okay? Um, uh, Allow you to distribute the data, right? So guess what happened? I'm gonna use the default one and I will say save. When I say save, you can see it is setting up and it is mapping and it is creating the file system. So if I go back right here and I refresh this, you should see that I have my environment, which is Dataverse plus environment plus the Google ID. And then if you take a look, this is the Dataverse, this is my environment, which is here. So now remember right here, we didn't see anything here. So now if I refresh this, I should be able to see there is something there unless if the configuration is not done yet. Okay, lucky us, it is done. You can see that I have this table here. So now I can go back here and select that table, leverage what we call serverless couple. Not sure why it's saying no. Oh, it might be still going on. Give me a second. There is a lock on it. Just give it a second. Yeah. But from there, you should be able to, for example, analyze that data. Not sure why it is showing this. Give me a second. Okay, should be able to create this. It sounds like the lock has been done. Yep, as you can see here. So you can see, I can see that data. I can start visualizing it, change the configuration, however, the type, uh, the way I want to visualize it, I'm able to do that if I want to. Not only that, I can load this to a Spark table. Okay, as you can see, I can load it here and I can start leverage Python if I know it to perform my analysis, right? And here, if you go back right here, if I click here, I can manage that table. I can unlink it. I can click on table and click on details. If I click on details right here, you can see it gives me the informations, right? And if I go back, let me show you, and I click right here, I see the number of holes that's been replicated. This is app for actions. If I go back and clean this and require this one, okay, that should be good by now. Give me 1 second. If I say one, get that same number, 195, as you can see here. So therefore, that's the same thing we have in here. And then what else? So this is the information. If I need to, uh, for example, add more, I can click on manage. If I want to access to the storage straight, I can click here. It will give me such access to the storage. As you can see right here, this is the storage. And then if I click right here and I click right here, you can see that I'm able to see those app actions and app action wall. Okay, same thing. I want to access the Synapse workspace. This is where I have to click to, right? And if I need to add more tables, I can click right here and add more tables. Consider if I want to add attachment, let me go with attachment, okay? And I save, you can see that it is saving the change that I just made. And after that, it will configure this. But while configure this, this is how fast it's working. You should see there must be another file that dump here. This is the attachment file. And then if we go back here, we can see this is done. And this is active, the synchronization is active. This is in initial sync in progress. If we refresh it, I think this should be done. Once we refresh it, we can see there is zero records. But as soon as an update occur, it will go and move that data for you. While moving that data, you are not allowed to modify that data. But the good thing is at the destination, you are allowed to perform any kind of modification that you want. Consider if I don't want this anymore. If you remember right here, let me refresh this. So now we can see the other one. We can see, for example, we have attachment right here. Consider if I don't want attachment, guess what happened? I can go back right here and click on manage and unselect attachment. It will go and do the cleanup for me. First of all, it want me to confirm. This is the confirmations. Okay, the following table will be removed from the link. Okay, the table will start syncing and the data will be deleted in Azure. So make sure this is what you want to do. If I say yes, okay, so now it is saving. While saving, okay, what is on the registration has been, yeah, it is fixed. I'm not sure the version, but let's see. I'm not sure about this. Uh, let me, the profile of registration, please fix ready, cannot be changed. But anyway, let's try to refresh this and ignore this because it shouldn't say that. Give me a second. You know, things happen sometimes. Let's go and manage tables. Okay. So now let me go and save this one. Accept. Let's see if we're gonna get the same thing. I think it should work by now, right? So now if we go back right here, it sounds like we're getting close. We can see that the attachment is no more exists. It could be gone as well from, you see this one, you can see for each uh, objects or entities you added, you have a metadata for that keep track of it. So now if I refresh my table, you should see that it's removed. We don't have attachment there for that these entities and no metadata as you can see. Um, Now you can see we have a clean one right here, right? And Microsoft just also announced if you have Fabric, okay, uh, now you have Microsoft One Link that allow you to perform the same kind of integration if you want to. All you have to do, click on Manage Tables and then connect to your Fabrics and then uh, uh, connect to your workspace choose your one link, you should be able to perform. This is kind of new. I don't have any table live to share with you, right? But the thing is, this is one of the things you might need to leverage as well. So now consider I have this and I don't need it anymore. If I want to, okay, I can quickly go and unlink it. When I unlink it, I will have to confirm and it's giving me some information. I'm gonna paste this and say yes. Okay. What unlink will do, it will go and clean up the entire data that was replicated for you on your behalf. That's the reason why you do require admin access. And those admin access can be found right here if you want to. You can add, for example, search role right here, because if you remember when we were reading the recommendations, it require Synapse admin at the workspace. This is one way. If you click right here, you will see that I have this group, right? If I go to Synapse, I click to Intra, search for Intra, and then if I go on groups, you will see that I have this group and I happen to be a member of that groups, as you can see here. If I go to my Power uh, app and I go to the admin portal, if I click on environment, you will see that this is the environment that I was using. You can clearly see if I click on this environment, you see this security code. So this security group I'm part of. It is the one that I assign that have admin. So this is the same one that have admin here, and it's the same one if you go at the storage level, right? I grant access. Sounds like, yep, need to jump to another call. Thank you for that. Oh, thank you so much, Paul. So this is the one that I can access. The way to get that access, you go on your storage, you go on access control, you give it. And then one hint, if you have an issue, remember that export to data, you have to replace home. But at the same times, if you go on portal, you go on home, there are some information that might be shared with you, things you might need to think of, right? That can cause issue. So you can, if it's not working, feel free to follow such advice, right? And those advice is most likely related. If you want to add your security group, you click here, and then if you click on edit, you no, sorry, if you click on setting, you click on users and permissions. You can click right here. You can add your security group if you want to, right? You can add users. This is how you can manage. And security and vision are the one that can create more troubleshooting times, understanding that. So the vision matter. So consider if your tenant on separate region, you might need to create a brand new workspace and a brand new Synapse workspace and a brand new storage account that fall under the per region that are supported. You might need to keep that in mind. Yeah, I want to do my best to leave a couple minutes to ask question. Give me a second. Let me show you that everything has been wiped out at the container level once we, for example, unlink it without doing anything. That's the reason why it requires search level permissions. And same thing will apply at the workspace level. If I click on the data hub, you can see that we still have this, but if I refresh it, it should be gone because we unlink it. We will not have anything there. Perfect, as you can see. Great. Um, so this is the demo, right? So you can see it's allow you to move the data, okay? So because the data is replicated, um, uh, uh, production doesn't get hit too much with your analytical workload. And the thing is, you have a complete view of this. Not only you have a complete view, when it comes to compliance, you have a single source of truth. So this is a big win. And then it allows you to perform near real-time analytics, right? And you know how scalable is Synapse, and you know Synapse is not just one service. It is a combination or a set of tools that fall under one umbrella. So therefore, you have limitless options in front of you to perform big data analysis, right? Or do regular data analysis. Not only that, it doesn't matter your development background because it supports Apache Spark, which is a framework, memory storage primitive that support different kind of language like Scala, you name it, uh, you name it. Even if you're using the old version on the Synapse, you might even leverage C sharp, right? And Python, SQL, native SQL. But understanding when you're using SQL designed to read data from disk. So therefore, you will need to convert that data from memory to a format that SQL can touch it because SQL was not designed to read data from memory, which is different from SQL Server buffer cache. So that's why you will need to convert your data frame to a temporary view and give SQL the flexibility to touch that data and perform analytics. So it doesn't matter your background, you can still leverage this. And then you can see this as a future proof. Like, cool. Um, uh, as I already mentioned, all of them, you need to understand the benefit, right? Not only you will save time, you don't need to worry about implementing any infrastructure. You don't need to worry about having support 24/7 if you are a global um, organi- uh, organizations or you have application that's globally service business, you don't need to worry about that because Microsoft handle the data processing. At least except that during the processing time, there's no modifications. So all you need to require is just create a synapse and connect your Dataverse and understanding. Once you create the synapse, there must be a bridge, and that bridge is the storage. Keep in mind the level of permissions that require, and keep in mind they have to be in the same region. Cool. And that's when you have to leverage the link to perform the near real-time analytics. So it was really a pleasure. I'm not sure we have 3 minutes. I hope I did not speak too long. And I hope, for example, you find something out of this. I'm going to share the link with you. Hopefully you you enjoyed the session. If you have a question, feel free to ask.
No, thank you. This has been awesome.
Thank you.
I think that was really great. It's definitely a bit over my head, and I'm gonna have to watch the recording a few times.
Thank you.
Thank
But
you,
good
Sean.
stuff.
Thank you.
I know I recently stumbled across some of those extra permissions that are like hidden wherever you're at, where you have to go to users. And so when they can't see something, how you have to make sure those permissions are correct. So I was glad you called that out.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, this
Yeah.
has been great.
Thank you. Just pass. I'm gonna stop sharing. And thank you so much for the opportunity, right?